All right, our next company up is Social Fortress with Adam Getty and Bonnie Adams presenting.
Hello, everyone. My name is Adam Getty, and the team and I are very excited to be here today because that means we finally get to share with you Social Fortress. We would like to introduce the notion that we are all out of control. Actually, we are so out of control, and we don't even know it. What we mean by control is control of our images, control of our content, control of our data, control of our entire digital life history. We have unknowingly relinquished real control of our digital life. How many people here would share every last bit of information they've ever created over the internet over all time on a billboard in the middle of Times Square? Raise your hands. Very few. So let me show you a few examples to drive this point home. How about your 11-year-old daughter now using Facebook, saying some pretty bad things? How about the fact a lot of information about her is currently publicly available because she doesn't understand it? I won't even begin to get into the types of problems this can lead to. How about another example? Dana just went on vacation, and when she was trying to tell a friend she left the keys out back, she inadvertently told the entire world. Not sure how that means to you, but it probably doesn't mean good things. The world today is even so complicated the Secret Service can't figure out how to use Twitter. I'm just saying. You know, The Onion has a very interesting story on this topic.
A troubling new report from the Shuttleworth Institute shows that due to Facebook, every potential candidate for the 2040 presidential race, no matter how smart or accomplished, is now completely unelectable. We're not just talking about photographs here, are we, Jason?
No, we are not. In fact, the study points out that every word a potential candidate writes, even if it's 20, 25 years ago,
right,
is going to be used against them by their political opponents in the future.
Okay.
Okay, so they did take it a little far, but that's not that far from the truth. It's our images, it is our content. Storage is cheap, it is everywhere, and it is forever. We are all out of control. Until now. Welcome to a world with Social Fortress. We're going to show you a live demo of Social Fortress running on applications you undoubtedly use. We're going to do it fast because it's effing easy to use. Let's start with an enterprise application, Yammer. You have a couple of doctors chatting about a patient they're currently working on. The only problem with this conversation is, if they were having this conversation today on Yammer, or almost any other site on the internet for that matter, it would be illegal. These doctors stand to lose their jobs, and the hospital facility stands to face very significant penalties. But it's okay, because the doctors are using Social Fortress, and so is the hospital. They're in control of their data. That's the actual conversation that was taking place on Yammer just now. Let's go to a consumer application like Gmail. So what you're going to see on Gmail when it comes up here in a moment is the fact that my mother actually utilizes PayPal, albeit she's not all that technical. And she's run into the problem that most of us have before, which is the fact that PayPal keeps resetting her account. And unfortunately, God bless my mother, love her to death, she's not joining a startup anytime soon, so she sends me all the information to fix it for her. But it's okay. Social Fortress is so easy, even my mother can use it, and Google can't even see her information anymore. Let's make this real time. Why don't we actually go over to Facebook, and let's have a conversation over Facebook chat. And why don't we have a conversation with one of our investors and an information security expert, Dr. Paul Judge. On the right, you'll see Social Fortress, and on the left, you'll see what Facebook's getting in real time, an attacker and everybody else in the world. Hey, thanks a lot, Paul. We'll catch up here in a minute. So what you'll see is that Social Fortress works for the enterprise, it works for mobile, it works for the consumer, and it works real time. Let me explain a little bit more about the platform. You see, we are not a VPN. We are not a single sign-on. We are not two-factor authentication. We are not DRM. We are not MDM. And we are not an encryption gateway. Walls no longer work in a world where we know how to fly. What you need in today's world, where you no longer own pretty much anything, where you used to only secure the things that you possessed, is you need Jason Bourne. You need Jason Bourne standing with your data no matter where it goes, anywhere in the world, on any device, on any platform, and on any application. You know why you need Jason? Because you don't know what's going to happen with your data. So Social Fortress brings Jason Bourne to all your messages, all your photos, anywhere in the world at any time. Let me give you a little bit about the company before we wrap up. We're a little over a year and a half old. We have a team comprised of information security experts and proven entrepreneurs from operations. Our earliest investors have disrupted the information security landscape multiple times and returned billions of dollars to their investors. And to date, we count 3 Fortune 100 companies as our initial early access partners. And you can go to socialfortress.com and come get it for yourself. Thank you.
Social Fortress. Judges, what do you think? 1 sec.
Jan?
Maybe I'll just talk loud.
There we go.
So I think it's very odd for a company of your size to be targeting both consumers and the enterprise. Are you picking one? What is your go-to-market strategy, I guess is what I'm asking.
So our current go-to-market strategy is to take the world-class CIOs, CTOs, and CISOs that have been giving us attention over the last year and a half, continue iterating the product inside of these very large enterprises, and when we come out the other side of that, give it away to the masses. But since we work here a part of Disrupt, we've taken a component of our technology, which is our password management solution and the data management solution, and going to give that away for free. And that gives us as a company access to real-world data while we're also working with some of these large enterprises to integrate across their very complex ecosystems. And what that product does for everybody out here, if you go to the website and sign up, is the second a single credential on any service that you've enrolled into Social Fortress, like your Gmail or your bank account information, if the password changes, we'll send you a note. And if you did it, great. And if you didn't, you can panic. And we'll automatically update the password across all other internet services you've enrolled into Social Fortress in real time. Think of us as ADT for all of your online homes.
So I don't understand. So at the very beginning you talked about being out of control and putting things on the internet you shouldn't put on, but how do you get that back once you put something out there? If I put something stupid out there or something out of control, how does this protect me?
So I noticed you turned around at some of the points in the demo.
I couldn't read it down here.
Okay, no problem. So instead of the original plain text, like, hey, here's my credit card information, can you add that, book the plane tickets on it you sent by email? Instead of that actually leaving your device, what we put in its place is ciphertext, AES-256. And that's what actually makes it to the internet. And then the encryption and decryption for you and your trusted contacts happens on each device, on each endpoint, in real time. So your plain text information actually never goes to the internet, ever. There's nothing to get lost. There's nothing to leak.
So you're breaking Gmail search, though?
So we still support search. If you can actually pull up the iPad real quick, I can show you search working in real time on Yammer, and it would be the same thing as working on Gmail or any other application.
But over time, I have 10,000 conversations. Those are all indexed locally, then?
No. So in like a gateway approach, you store a tokenized version of it locally, right? What we've done is we have some patent-pending technology where we append some mathematical metadata that has no correlation to the raw text of your ciphered original plain text, and we allow that to still be indexed by the service provider themselves. The local keys and kind of mapping of all of that resides on your infrastructure as an enterprise. And so the majority of the processing is still offloaded to a Google or a Yammer or to whomever you're using for your cloud service provider.
You mentioned you were showing pictures online and your demo, which was cute, which was everybody's unelectable in 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, but what does that come into play? It's not a question of what I emailed somebody. I'm asking, if I tweet something, Facebook something, put something out there, how does this get it back?
So photos as well are supported. And when you upload a photo to Facebook, what you actually get now is a little black barcode that's not your real photo. That's what Facebook gets, that's what the world gets. And our software puts it back into its original format for you and your friends on their device, and only why they're viewing it and only why they're still your friends.
So I have a question that's related to what he's asking that
Sure.
I think may clarify it. So people can view the content I'm sharing only if they have your client installed as well?
Correct. One time. Think of us as like Acrobat Reader. The first time you got it, you had to get it. Then you never thought about it again. We've made it that simple. And you want it on every device, by the way. How do you control all these pieces of data if you can't control at the device layer?
But this type of thing has been around in email for years, of being able to encrypt my email and send it, but nobody uses it because it's a change in user behavior. Why do you think all of a sudden this is going to be something that people will actually use?
Because it's our job to stay the hell out of your way. The problem with legacy solutions has they've been extra steps. They have absolutely modified the user experience. We don't. You get our technology one time, in the enterprise, the end user doesn't even see it. The IT deploys it, and you never think about it again. Think of us, instead of being a wall, like most InfoSec companies are, as a bridge. We enable you to go where you want, when you want, because we don't get in your way.
But it's not just I have to do it. Everybody else on the other side also has to download the viewer or the decryptor, right? There's a piece of code that needs to go on every device in order for this to work.
Correct, and that is correct. But we've made that process as painless as possible.
If I'm doing all my posts on Facebook and various images and things like that, then that can't feed back into Facebook's algorithm to rank content then for me because it's all encrypted. So you're basically screwing with my news feed at the same time.
That is correct. As it stands today, by standing completely independent of an application, we do break a lot of their analyst kind of algorithms, which because we're not letting them see your data. Some of the early pilots that we're looking for in the enterprise is we're actually working with them to integrate aspects of our technology into their process, so certain things like that can still be done without exposing the entire world to the data itself.
There's I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, is there any, if you're talking about people, especially, young kids that are putting something out there they don't know, so you as a parent have to install all this on their phones, devices, iPads, and then get their friends to do it as well. There's no simpler way to get this stuff to, to be part of what they're sending, and it's just a click of a button on the other side. Is there some way that makes...
You can hit the website, and in 30 seconds or less, you can actually get the plugin installed in your browser, restart your browser, and you're done. It's really that simple. If you,
but even getting that
gateway,
30 seconds is tough for somebody to...
The problem is this. Instead of me trying to sell you snake oil information security, which is here's a gateway, route everything through it, that doesn't give you control. It gives you control at that single point. We actually give you control all the way through the entire data lifecycle, and we feel that in the enterprise, they understand that pain point, and the consumer market will get there over time. That is why our go-to-market is starting with enterprises, and just because of TechCrunch, we felt obligated to make sure we gave something meaningful to the audience here today.
Great. That's Social Fortress. Thank you guys for presenting.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.